All right, we are driving to 2024. Hopefully, in 2024, I may consider running for some kind of government office, but we shall see. But today, I want to talk about guns. Are guns okay, and is there really a place for them? Am I anti-gun? No. Am I 100% pro-gun? No. I think there's a middle ground that should be discussed, and that's really the use of assault rifles and really just having regular handguns. Are regular handguns, or I guess we can't call them regular, but are handguns enough? I don't know too much about all the gun names, except for whatever I read about or played with from video games. But are assault rifles really necessary in our daily lives? Maybe some of you guys can argue and say yes, they are, and that there is a place for them, and where is really that place? But when we're looking at these mass shootings, a lot of these mass shootings, they happen from these type of guns. They're not typically from handguns. So if you guys can let me know, really are assault rifles really necessary? Because I don't see why it would be necessary. Handguns, sure. Handguns are useful. I mean, they can use to protect yourself, in case something does happen, right? In case a robbery at gunpoint happens and you got to pull out your gun or whatever the case is. I mean, I think handguns should be available and necessary. But, when we look at what happened at Parkland, what can we really do to prevent this kind of issue? I mean, there's a lot of discussions about maybe teachers should have guns, and that's something that I worry about. And I worry about that because I'm not saying all teachers have this, but some teachers, they might use it as empowering, and they might use it for harassment purposes. I mean, we see it in the news about teachers who harass their students, and can you imagine what would happen if somebody had a gun and pointed it at a student and forced them to do something? I mean, that's something that we have to think about, and I would really hate to see that happen, and I can only imagine what the media would do if something like that did happen. Other issues that involve teachers having guns is you got to think about, if it does happen, how many teachers are going to have guns? And there's talks about extensive background checks and only certain teachers would have them. But if I was a gun shooter and I was going to come to a school in which I probably graduated or went to the school at some point, I might have an idea on who possesses guns. So I would either do one of two things. I would go after them initially before they can pull out their gun and stop me, or I'd be on the other side of the campus to make sure that my objective is done and completed before I would be in danger from that teacher. So that's just something to think about, and I don't think everybody thinks about that case. The other thing that maybe is another solution is having police officers on site. I mean, that can get costly. It can cost the city quite a bit of money. Would it be worth it to save a child? Definitely. I mean, I would rather have 100 police officers, in a state or in a town to make sure that no shootings happen, but it may not be realistic. Maybe a better option is to enforce that a police officer has to be nearby within X amount of miles. Let's say it's 5 miles, to be able to get to a school right away or pretty quickly to address any kind of gun violence or any kind of violence that may be going on campus. Maybe that's a better option. So then they can sort of do their job while be on alert in case something does happen in the school grounds. I just want to talk about this because sometimes we go far left or far right, or we're just stuck on one way, and we got to sort of think about what are the repercussions of doing this and doing that, and is it really necessary? Anywho, if you like my little talk here, I'll be doing a lot more of them. So hopefully in 2024, I might run for some kind of government office. We'll see. But if you guys have any comments, please feel free to put them below, and subscribe if you want to hear about future things that I'll talk about. Thanks. Bye.